everyone. Welcome back to our live with See It Be It STEM. My name is Meghana Valupadas, and I am a civil engineer from Calgary, Alberta, and I'll be your moderator for this next section with engineering. And I'm so excited to have some incredible panelists who will be joining us today. Denise and Netra will be with us very soon, and we're going to be talking about their journeys in engineering and what inspired them, and I'm just super excited to keep that conversation going. So I'll give it a couple minutes for everyone to join us, and then we'll get started. And thank you all so much for joining us. Again, my name is Meghana. I'm a civil engineer from Calgary, Alberta, and I'm the co-founder of an organization called Diversity in Engineering, which looks to promote underrepresented voices in engineering and STEM. And our first speaker is here with us today, so I'm going to bring Denise on right now. Hey Denise, how are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us on our live today. Are you having a good morning so far?
Good morning so far. It's afternoon here on the east coast of Canada.
Oh, wonderful. Well, yeah, we're on different sides of the country, but I'm excited to have this conversation. It's cool that technology can allow us to do this.
Absolutely.
So before we jump into, I guess, the meat of the questions, I was wondering if you can give everyone some background on your name, what you went to school for, your degree, and your current job and what you do.
For sure. For sure. So my name is Denise Pothier, and I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I have a Bachelor of Chemical Engineering, and if I give you the date that I graduated, I'll be giving away my age. But I'm a 1993 graduate from the Technical University of Nova Scotia, which is now Dalhousie University here in Halifax. And I also have a master's of an MBA through Athabasca University. So I got that 2 years ago now through their online course. And I'm currently a vice president with Stantec Consulting. That's an international engineering, architecture, environmental services design firm.
Amazing. So you've got incredible accolades and you have so much knowledge under your belt. What inspired you to pursue engineering?
So I was very lucky. When I was in high school, I had a chemistry teacher, Monsieur Philippe Doussa, who asked my mom if I was interested in engineering. So you've got to think this was quite a long time ago, and he looked beyond all the stereotypes and biases about, who should go into engineering and who shouldn't go, and recommended engineering to me. And again, back in the day, there was no Google, there was, no internet to sort of, do all the research that is available now. And he said, if you're good at math, interested in the sciences, like to solve problems, then engineering is a career that you should consider. So that's how I got into engineering. Yeah, really quite lucky. He was sort of the first domino to me, sort of, my career and what I've achieved during my career.
Amazing. So you almost had a mentor kind of looking out for you, giving you some advice on what path to follow.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, listen to your teachers.
Amazing. So you work with Stantec. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a bit about your role? What does a day in your life sort of look like?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. So every day is a little bit different. So there are things that are, sort of routine that I know I need to do, which is more of the administrative side of things in terms of time cards and expenses and things like that. Um, but then every day there could be a different challenge that comes up, or an opportunity, or I'm helping a team write a proposal for a project. I should probably back up and tell you what I do there. So I oversee our quality, occupational health and safety, environment, and sustainability management systems. And I oversee them globally. So we have operations in 6 continents, 26 countries, and we hold those ISO certifications there. So we're looking at, quality and health and safety and environmental management on our projects, and also keeping our employees safe, the sustainability for the company, how we're performing against our carbon footprint targets and things like that. So sort of internal and external focused. So given that, any day something new could come up.
That's always fun. It keeps
Yeah,
things different from day to day.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm also
Amazing.
involved in our Indigenous relations program as well. So looking at introducing STEM career and to Indigenous youth here in Canada, locally, North America, and globally.
Incredible, especially because we definitely do need more Indigenous representation in STEM. And so that's incredible. How did
Yeah.
you, I guess, in your day-to-day job, what moments do you find are you most passionate about?
Yeah, it's when, working with a global team is amazing. It presents challenges, but it's also amazing. So it's bringing together those different perspectives. So a lived experience of somebody in Australia or New Zealand, or in the Middle East, or in Pune, or in Calgary, or Boston, Massachusetts is different. And bringing those different perspectives together, so when we come together and collaborate and come up with a solution that's just better than before, whether it's just a simple process efficiency or a really great technical innovative project. It's just that coming together and having the team work together and just making the world a better place.
For sure, having that team effort, and I'm guessing
Yeah,
people from all different careers working in engineering with you
yeah.
together. Throughout your career, did you have any other role models who really inspired you to get where you are today, or even pursued other passions in your life?
Yeah, so that's a really, really interesting question. Because I think a lot of times you realize someone was a role model maybe after they were a role model to you. Like you don't always realize the mentorship that's happening. Um, so I always try and be sort of in the moment and recognize when somebody is sharing their knowledge with you. Everyone you meet, every single person you meet will know something that you don't know because of their lived experience and what they've learned and gone through and their upbringing. So, everyone you meet could be a mentor to you, whether they're younger, older, or, that type of thing. So I think it's just really important to recognize that mentorship that happens in the moment. So they're not always like formal relationships that, somebody that you meet in a network or something. It's just, yeah, recognizing that. So there's been many, many along the way.
Fantastic. It's so great to hear that you've had the chance to have so many mentors in your life, and I'm guessing also mentor other people.
I do. I do. I really believe in this whole sort of pay it forward system. So people have been so great to me in their mentorship and their coaching and their leadership and just sharing their experiences with me. So I think it's really important to do that and to be, even if it's just making an introduction for someone or just sharing a quick cup of coffee and just sharing some insights. It doesn't take a lot of time. And people are so very grateful when you do that. So it yeah, just really brightens my day when I can help somebody else.
That's fantastic. Do you have any advice for young people, young women in particular, who are thinking about engineering as a career but aren't too sure?
Yeah, I think engineering is an amazing choice. I think at the end of the day, you really need to think about what it is that you want to do as opposed to what the title is. So if you're interested in protecting people, protecting the planet, protecting the environment, if you're interested in making the world a better place, then engineering is an amazing career choice, and it's a career that can open many doors. There are other amazing careers out there as well. So it's whatever makes you successful. So play to your strengths, whatever those strengths may be, and you will be successful in life.
Absolutely. I think one thing that is kind of common amongst all the careers in STEM is that when you get a degree, it's just a piece of paper at the end of the day. You can really do what you want with it. And I think that's
Yeah.
particularly true of engineering. It's such a broad field.
Absolutely, absolutely. It opens a number of doors. You can go into research, academia, science, management, project management, sustainability, the list goes on and on. So it is certainly a career choice that would open many doors for people. And also if you're interested in traveling and global work, engineering is certainly a career that can do that for you as well.
Definitely. Have you done a lot of traveling in your career? Has your career opened up a lot of doors for you?
It has, it has. So I've been able to travel to our European offices. Just before COVID hit, I was going to be traveling to the Australia and New Zealand offices as well. So I have done a great deal of travel, primarily in North America, but now with the global role, sort of introducing a little bit more travel. But with the current restrictions and with technology, certainly being able to make those connection points virtually instead of in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything that I haven't touched on yet that you would like to share with our audience about your own career, your own journey in STEM, or about engineering?
I just think it's always be curious. Again, like I said earlier, everyone you meet will know something that you don't know. And so maintaining that level of curiosity, not letting your intellect get in the way, being open to new ways of doing things. The world is ever changing faster than ever before, and you need that ability to adapt to change and to be curious and to adopt new processes or ways of doing things or ways of thinking, really, really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to really thank you for joining us today and for this fantastic chance to interview you and learn more about your skills and about your experiences. We wish you only the best in your career and really thank you for the opportunity to spend some time with you today.
Perfect. Thanks. It's been my pleasure, and good luck to everyone.
Thanks so
Thanks.
much.
Bye.
That was such a fantastic live. We were so lucky to have her join us and to share her experiences about Stantec and about her career in engineering. I think such an important thing that I'm also seeing in the comments is about how broad of a field engineering is, how at the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper, it's a degree, and you can do so much with it regardless of what engineering field you're actually in. And so we're about to hear from our next participant who is a future bioengineering PhD at Stanford University. And Netra is going to join us right now. Oh my gosh, I love this room.
I can't believe that happened. Hello.
It's gorgeous. I love pink.
Oh,
Netra, how
thank
are
you.
you?
I'm great. How are you, Meghana?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on our live today. We are so excited to talk to you about your career and about your schooling and about your engineering journey. Would you mind starting by telling us, myself and the audience, a bit more about yourself, your name, what you went to school for, your degree, and what are you up to right now in life?
Yeah, for sure. So I am a newly minted engineering graduate. I'm a 2020 grad from the engineering science program at the University of Toronto, and I specialized in biomedical engineering. So really excited to share a little bit about that. It's actually my diploma back there. I remember the piece of paper you were talking about that arrived in the mail. And I'm actually going to be starting my PhD this fall at Stanford University in bioengineering. So kind of headed towards the academic track, and I'm really excited to just delve deeper into biomedical engineering, pursue more research, and specifically my interests are in cancer research in the space of cancer immuno-oncology and immunoengineering. So that's what I'll be doing.
Amazing. And congratulations on
Thank you.
graduating this year, especially during this kind of trying time. Big
Yeah.
love goes out to our graduates right now. So would you mind sharing with us some of your research in the simplest, so I'm a civil engineer, so I actually I don't know what's going on in the bioengineering sphere. So in the simplest terms you can, sharing some of your research with us.
Yeah, for sure. So the work that I do is trying to figure out how we can get different cancer therapeutics to the actual site of the tumor. So when you inject a medication, whether it be a vaccine or a chemotherapeutic, it's really hard for that therapeutic to figure out where to go in the body because your body is just so complicated. There are a bunch of blood vessels. It can go pretty much anywhere. But if we design what's called nano vehicles or little particles that you can kind of shield these drugs and treatments in, then it makes it much easier for those treatments to get to the actual site of the tumor so that you can reduce side effects that are associated with these treatments. So my role has been using material science and engineering to design what's called nanoparticles so that we can deliver these treatments in a much more efficacious manner.
Wow. Well, it's incredible to have people like you working on, I guess, our future cures and the ways that we are going to use medicine to hopefully save lots more lives than we are right now.
Thank
Um,
you.
I guess so. Some of your interest seems to be in sciences. So when you started out in engineering, what was your journey like? How did you kind of marry those two interests together and find bioengineering?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. And it's one of the key reasons as to why I chose biomedical engineering. So when I was going through high school, I really enjoyed biology, chemistry, physics, math. All of these subjects really appealed to me. So I was kind of in a confused state in high school because I realized I wanted to do all of these things, but it's very difficult to major in all of these things. So that's when I actually came across biomedical engineering in my grade 10 careers class. And I realized that it's a really good opportunity to kind of marry these fields together. Ultimately, I believe biomedical engineering allows you to use concepts in science and mathematics so that you can engineer these new technologies to help solve medical problems. And I think it's just the idea that all of these fields are so intertwined in biomedical engineering that made me want to pursue the field. And in fact, the engineering science program at the University of Toronto does just that. You know, you spend your first 2 years not specializing in any major. You're taking courses in mathematics, quantum physics, even civil engineering, which is weird as a biomedical engineer. But all of these fields, you know, there's concepts that you can take and apply into your own discipline. And that's what I really loved about biomedical engineering.
Incredible. I love that you kind of touched on all the different sorts of courses that you take that lead you into this one degree and a very specific one. I have to ask, when you were really, really young, let's say like when you were 4 or 5, and someone was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And the answer you gave versus where you are now, what's the difference there?
Yeah. So I think when I was 4, I would have said I want to be a singer because I started singing when I was really young, and like for the longest time, that was the career I wanted to go into. And then around grade 6, I started shifting more towards the sciences. And I think the first career I ever wanted was to be an astronaut. So I was like, I want to go into space. Standard answer, I think, for most kids that age. But I think biomedical engineering really became the career path I wanted to pursue when I was around 14, actually 13, when I was like in grade 8. I had a science teacher who actually opened me to the field of engineering. We had a project where we had to like design this hydraulic arm, a claw that would allow you to pick up objects. And like I just loved using my hands and using those engineering principles. And I didn't know I was doing it at the time. But he was like, you know what? Engineering might be a good way for you to move forward. It's like a good way to bring in the artistic element, work with your hands. And that's really when I shifted towards engineering.
Incredible. So similar to Denise, who we were just talking to, it's almost
Yeah.
like there was a mentor in your life who suggested this career path, or at least pointed out to you that you were using some engineering skills and it might be a future career for you. So on the subject of mentors, do you have any mentors in your life who have really pushed you to where you are today or have been really pivotal to your success?
Honestly, so many. I think mentorship is just the most amazing thing in the STEM community. And I've been hearing from quite a few speakers who say, you don't know you're being mentored until after the fact. And that's really what I felt when I was going through my degree. I've had so many mentors who helped me get into the field right from my home. My own mom is a woman in engineering. So right from there, I've been driven to pursue engineering, and I realized it's a field pretty much for anyone. But then as I went through my career and I started pursuing different research opportunities, I found so many more mentors who were willing to guide me and kind of point me in the right direction towards what the best next step would be. And I think mentorship is really a very incremental and cyclic process. You find someone who helps you and pushes you forward, and then that person connects you to someone else, and then they connect you to someone else. And then hopefully at the end of all of this, you can give back and be a mentor to someone who you can help bring forward. So it's very much a two-way thing. And I'm super grateful for all the mentors I've had throughout my career, and definitely would not have been here without any of them.
That's amazing to hear you've had some great mentors. Can you tell us maybe your top couple tips for finding a mentor, and then maybe a couple tips for people who are interested in mentoring other people?
Yeah, for sure. So I think in finding a mentor, the key thing is to just ask. A lot of my life, I've been a little bit scared to approach people. In fact, just like cold email them and be like, you're super cool. You're such an amazing inspirational role model. And I'd love to have you support me and just, guide me to bring out the best in me. And I think it was probably around 16 when I started applying for research internships that I realized people actually respond to these cold emails. I remember sending out like hundreds of emails to professors in different universities and departments being like, I want to do cancer research. I'm interested in this field. Do you think I could work in your lab? And of course, some of them didn't respond, but eventually one or two respond and they're like, sure, I'll take you under my wing. And I think it's just about taking initiative. You will always find mentorship if you seek it. So, just go out there. Don't be afraid to ask those tough questions and to ask people who are way up there, people you look up to. And then on the other side, if you're interested in being a mentor, I think it's really important to just be accepting and willing to learn. Like I said, mentorship is very much a two-way interaction. I learned so much from my mentees, and hopefully, I can help them out and they learn a little bit from me too. But I think if you're accepting and open, mentees will naturally seek you out, and mentors will also naturally seek you out.
Oh, absolutely. That kind of like resilience when it comes to making those like cold emails and cold calls is so important. But you're right, being on the other end, when you see those emails, you're like, of course I want to chat with you. Like there's so many people out there who are just so wonderful in sharing their knowledge and wanting to see other people succeed.
Yeah.
Um, in your particular field of biomedical engineering, do you find that there are a lot of women? And are we kind of like pushing the dial and seeing more women enter this field, if not?
So honestly, it's hard for me to say because in my class, I think it was about 50-50 or 60-40. Honestly, school is such a blur after quarantine. But I definitely do think that women in general are just becoming a lot more represented in engineering. And part of that is, this push towards having women in engineering and having more resources accessible for them and making this field available to them. Events like this through See It, Be It, STEM It, where we're actually just trying to introduce different girls to engineering as a potential career option and just even the fields of STEM. So I think that push is definitely in the right direction. And a lot of young girls these days are just so innovative and creative. And there's so much potential. And I love that we have such initiatives to recognize that potential.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you find that your kind of reality of what your career has become is different than what you thought engineers do?
A little bit, actually. So when I was initially looking into biomedical engineering, and sorry, I'm speaking very specific to biomedical engineering because
Please, that
engineering
is
is
your
just
specialty.
so broad. It's so broad. And I don't even know if it's my specialty yet, maybe way after my PhD. But yeah, even biomedical engineering is just such a broad field. And when I initially thought about it and heard about it, a lot of the work was in prosthetics. So I thought I would be doing a lot of like mechanical engineering type work, designing prosthetics, designing surgical tools. But then I actually got into research and working in the lab, and I realized, there is more of a biological side to this. The human body can totally be engineered. It's actually an engineering marvel if you think about how complex everything in the body is and how things just, seem to work together very seamlessly, but we just don't understand how it's doing a lot of these things. So it does look a bit different than what I thought it would be, but I'm really glad I got exposed to more of the biological side of engineering.
Amazing. And so we kind of touched a little bit on quarantine, and I heard that you have taken up an interesting, fun new initiative in quarantine. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been trying to pursue more outreach, specifically in STEM, throughout quarantine. And I'm actually an artist. I really enjoy painting my nails and doing nail art. So I thought, I have a hobby doing nail art, and I have exposure to STEM, and I want to do STEM outreach. So I kind of just combined the two, and I actually started an Instagram account called Nacreous Nail Art, where I do STEM related nail art, and we do a bunch of collaborations with different artists in the community to highlight women in STEM. We actually have one coming out on July 20th where we're highlighting our favorite scientific discoveries through nail art. And it's just been really cool to kind of be exposed to a different community on social media, but also bringing in that STEM element. And I've been able to speak to countless girls, who are like 12 and 13 interested in pursuing STEM. And now here's an avenue through art where we can bring STEM to them.
That's incredible. Now, where can we see this nail art?
Yeah, so on Instagram, if you follow Nacreous_nail art, you can see some of the STEM art that we've been doing, and I've been sharing fun facts with all of my designs as well. So if you want to learn, kind of trivial knowledge, just fun facts that might help you on Jeopardy or one of those game shows, definitely check it out.
I love that. I feel like I never hear enough about women in STEM in school. So, learning about it through nail art, that's definitely my jam. I love that. And I love
Thank
that that's
you.
something that
Thank
really
you.
appeals to not just a younger audience, but to folks who just love art and love nails. And
Yeah.
it is truly that fusion of arts and sciences and engineering.
Exactly. And I think what really surprised me is there's so many STEM professionals who are in the nail art community. In fact, I've met like countless PhD students, engineers at companies, so many people who I didn't know were doing nail art are doing nail art. And, they're all about bringing in the STEM element. So it's been such an amazing experience just meeting all of these people and hopefully finding a new way to bring STEM joy to people.
Absolutely. And then also smashing down those stereotypes about art and STEM kind of being polar opposites. They
Exactly.
can come
We're all about
together.
STEAM here.
Yes, absolutely. Now, in our last minute or two, is there
Yeah.
anything that I haven't touched on yet that you would like to share with our audience, whether it's advice or some more information about your own career or just anything that we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah, I mean, so I think one of the things I'd really like to highlight is you're never too young to get into STEM, I started doing research when I was technically 14. I like built a lab in my basement to do a science fair project. And I think I really want to, speak to the youth today. Like, don't be afraid to get immersed in the STEM world. You can always, it's never too late to start. And I think it's all about just taking initiative and being open to all of these opportunities. Like I said, if you seek it out, there are so many amazing initiatives out there, and social media has made it a lot easier for us to, get access to these resources and get inspired by amazing women in STEM and just anyone in STEM, really. So, go for it. Just don't be scared. If you think STEM could be for you, try to read up more, try to reach out to people. And I'm sure, there will be so many people out there who are willing to help you out. And I'm just so excited for everyone who wants to be exposed to this community. It's an amazing community to be a part of, really.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all of your time this
My
morning and for
pleasure.
sharing your insights and your journey with us. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm sure that everyone in the comments and everyone who was watching was just feels so incredibly lucky as I do to get the chance to speak with you. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
much again.
Likewise. I'm so glad to have met you too. We've never met in person, but I feel like I've known you forever. And it's just really great to again, be exposed to this community. Thanks so much for having me be a part of this. And thanks to the See It Be It STEM It team as well for organizing such an amazing initiative.
Yes, absolutely. They did an incredible job, and we have some incredible speakers who are coming up who I'll introduce right in a second. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
So in our next segment, we're going to go into the incredible field of mathematics, and the moderator is Vanessa Vicaria. Now, Vanessa is the founder and CEO of the Math Guru, and she will go into that at 9, or sorry, not 9:50. I'm on Mountain Standard Time at 11:50, and to speak more to the subject of mathematics and interview two incredible women, two incredible and accomplished women in mathematics. So thank you all so much for joining us for our segment in engineering. And please stick around because in 5 minutes, we're going to have our segment on mathematics. Thanks so much, everyone.